66 million years ago, across the vast plains of southwestern North America, a colossal dinosaur roamed, unaware that it was experiencing its final days on Earth. This giant creature was significant not just for its sheer power, but because it represented the last of its kind to walk North America. Yet, the legacy of this dinosaur wouldn't end there. It now holds the title of the largest known land animal to have ever lived in North America. This is the Alamosaurus. Despite such an incredible feat, Alamosaurus has somehow remained in the shadows, overshadowed by other North American dinosaurs from the late Cretaceous period. Even more surprising, it is far less famous than its gigantic counterparts, like Brachiosaurus or Argentinosaurus. The mystery of its obscurity is puzzling, considering that it has been on paleontologists' radar for a long time. Its existence was first recognized back in 1921 when a shoulder bone and a pelvis were unearthed in the New Mexico desert. Immediately, Charles Gilmore, the man who discovered these bones, identified the newly found dinosaur as a unique type of sauropod. However, since the bones represented only a small fraction of the entire creature, little else could be determined about this new dinosaur. Nevertheless, Gilmore went on to describe this sauropod just a year later, giving it the name Alamosaurus sanjuanensis, a nod to the Ojo Alamo Formation where it was discovered. Ironically, this naming initially brought it some notoriety, but for all the wrong reasons, as people mistakenly believed the name referenced the Alamo in Texas. Aside from this common misconception, Alamosaurus did not generate much buzz throughout the early and mid-1900s because the few bones known at the time suggested it was just a medium-sized sauropod, nothing more. However, everything changed in the 2000s when new discoveries revealed that Alamosaurus was an undiscovered giant. This breakthrough included the unearthing of a massive leg bone, a distinct yet equally large cervical vertebra, and a juvenile specimen, the most complete fossil of any Alamosaurus found to date. The completeness of this young Alamosaurus allowed paleontologists to confirm that the isolated giant fossils indeed belonged to Alamosaurus, revealing that this creature was much larger than previously thought. In fact, these new findings propelled Alamosaurus to the very top of the list of North America's largest dinosaurs. Estimates suggest that, on average, these giants measured around 85 feet, 26 meters from head to tail, standing 16 feet, 5 meters tall at the shoulder, and weighing approximately 39 tons. Even at this size, Alamosaurus was among the largest sauropods on Earth, but like many long-necked dinosaurs, some individuals may have been much larger than others. The largest Alamosaurus could have stretched about 98 feet, 30 meters, long, and weighed a staggering 88 tons, 8 times the weight of a fully grown T-Rex, the largest terrestrial predator ever to roam North America. But how does this size stack up against other sauropods? Well, for starters, it completely outclassed all other North American sauropods, including the famous crew that lived together during the Jurassic period, like Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and Brachiosaurus. Moreover, large Alamosaurus specimens may have rivaled the biggest sauropods seen on other continents, with paleontologists often considering it comparable in size to giants like South America's Argentinosaurus and Asia's Reemergence, the latter often regarded as a top contender for the title of the largest dinosaur ever. Given its massive size and the fact that it hails from the late Cretaceous, it's perhaps not surprising that Alamosaurus is a member of the Titanosaurs, the dominant group throughout the Cretaceous period and the largest and most widespread sauropods around, existing across all 7 continents. Within this group, Alamosaurus is typically classified within the family Saltosauridae, whose members are distinguished by having 35 or fewer tail vertebrae. Additionally, something that makes Saltosaurs stand out is not just their colossal size, but also their armor. This detail might come as a bit of a surprise, since most don't think of sauropods as armored, but Alamosaurus and its family indeed possessed a significant degree of armor in the form of bony scales. It's unclear just how much of its body was covered by this armor. but recent findings suggest that at least a portion of its back was shielded by these bony plates. Moreover, these scales might have been somewhat sharp, as some paleontologists have found remnants that seem more spike-shaped than rounded, indicating that this titan may have roamed around with massive spikes running down its back and possibly other parts of its body. These scales are thought to have served as protection against attacks from predatory dinosaurs, or could have been used as a form of social display and recognition. Either way, these spikes were certainly useful, but they were not Alamosaurus' primary defense. Its bone structure was. Compared to most other sauropods, Alamosaurus was extremely robust, with both its neck and chest being especially sturdy. This allowed Alamosaurus to significantly enhance its durability and keep its most vulnerable organs safe from harm. This sturdiness, combined with its enormous size, rendered it virtually untouchable by any fully grown predatory dinosaur. On the other hand, the juveniles and smaller adults weren't entirely safe as they coexisted with Tyrannosaurus, and Alamosaurus indeed shared its environment with both the tyrant lizard king, T-Rex, and its older relative. Both of these species were gigantic and are known to have attacked and eaten Alamosaurus, as some specimens bear healed bite marks indicating predatory activity, while other fossils show unhealed bites, meaning the individual either died or was killed in the attack. However, predation on Alamosaurus was ultimately uncommon, as most specimens bear no bite marks at all, underscoring just how valuable size was if you lived next to the king. Yet sometimes size and bony scales weren't enough, which is why some paleontologists argue that Alamosaurus had another active defensive weapon: its tail. Like many titanosaurs, Alamosaurus had a fairly long and whip-like tail, though not as long as that of a diplodocid. However, many believe that Alamosaurus had the capability to use its built-in whip as a weapon, as titanosaurs have the highest rate of tail injuries among any sauropod group, even surpassing the diplodocids, suggesting that their tails were quite active, so to speak. The injuries mentioned include various ailments and afflictions, with one of the most common findings matching trauma caused by blunt force, increasing the likelihood that it was used as a weapon even further. Overall, Alamosaurus certainly cut an imposing figure, something that has helped to boost the attention it receives. And one other detail that adds to the intrigue, unrelated to its size or outward appearance, is the timing of its existence. As mentioned, Alamosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous, specifically from 70 to 66 million years ago, a momentous time to be alive because this means it existed during what is now known as the sauropod hiatus. This event began in the Cenomanian stage of the late Cretaceous, around 104 million years ago, when sauropods suddenly vanished from North America. This absence would last for over 30 million years until Alamosaurus made its appearance. This significant gap in sauropod presence has sparked much debate over the years about both why they seemingly disappeared and how Alamosaurus emerged millions of years later. Currently, the leading explanation is that their disappearance resulted from an extinction event, with paleontologists suggesting that competition with ornithopods like duck-billed dinosaurs and the expansion of the western interior seaway were potential causes. And regarding the emergence of Alamosaurus, the prevailing thought is that it managed to re-establish itself in southern North America after migrating there from South America, or perhaps even Asia, although the latter idea is less widely accepted. Of course, having entered this continent 70 million years ago, Alamosaurus still faced plenty of competition, and the western interior seaway was quite expansive, but it managed to thrive despite not being significantly different from its distant ancestors, with no major changes in diet observed as it possessed peg-like teeth used for slicing and stripping vegetation from medium to tall plants, just like its forebears. Additionally, the discovery of stomach stones in many specimens confirmed that Alamosaurus regularly consumed stones to aid digestion, a common trend also seen in other sauropods. However, its arrival was a resounding success, and Alamosaurus even became one of the most common late Cretaceous dinosaurs in North America. with an especially high circulation rate in what is today the United States. Its apparent high population was so remarkable compared to other dinosaurs that paleontologists have even coined the term Alamosaurus fauna to describe the common life found in certain areas. Along with its strong numbers, Alamosaurus also managed to re-establish a respectable domain under the sauropod name, with fossils found across much of the southern United States and northern Mexico. In these lands, populations would live in both coastal habitats bordering the western interior seaway and inhabit semi-arid inland plains, which were often relieved of dry climates in the form of rivers, swamps, and lakes. Throughout its habitat, Alamosaurus would have lived alongside a host of different dinosaurs, including species such as Ojoceratops, Glyptodontopelta, Torosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, and others. Non-dinosaur life was also abundant in these areas, represented by several species of fish, rays, amphibians, turtles, snakes, lizards, crocodiles, mammals, and pterosaurs. The pterosaurs, in particular, were quite numerous, with Quetzalcoatlus being the most common. Quetzalcoatlus was so prevalent in the area where Alamosaurus fossils were found that some paleontologists have wondered if there was any connection between them, similar to the relationship between certain bird species and elephants, or certain fish and whale sharks. In any case, Alamosaurus and Quetzalcoatlus would have been a common yet spectacular sight, as both were giants in their own right. But in the end, it was Alamosaurus that was the true giant of these lands, a distinction it maintained until the very bitter end, a finale that perhaps came later than expected, but still occurred around 66 million years ago, when the KT extinction event struck. Interestingly, Alamosaurus bones from a juvenile have been found just a few feet away from the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, making it one of the youngest known dinosaurs and possibly one of the last non-avian dinosaurs to exist. Perhaps this isn't such a surprising feat for North America's largest and last titan. But as mentioned, Alamosaurus wasn't the only North American dinosaur to survive until the end of the Cretaceous. In fact, there was another dinosaur whose fossils were found just inches from the KT boundary, making it one of the youngest dinosaurs known to science. It was also the only dinosaur known to have injured a T-Rex. So, if that sounds interesting, check out the video I just made recently. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Keep exploring.